In January 2025, President Donald Trump introduced a series of economic initiatives aimed at revitalizing the American economy and reshaping its trade dynamics. Among the most notable projections from these initiatives is an anticipated 45% increase in collaboration across three key sectors: technology, agriculture, and tourism, expected by the first quarter of 2026. This report outlines the key initiatives, their implications, and the broader context of these changes. Key initiatives and their impacts. 1. Tariffs and trade policies. Implementation of tariffs. Starting January 20, 2025, Trump's administration announced substantial tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, including a 25% tariff on certain materials. This action is part of an America First trade policy aimed at protecting domestic industries and addressing trade deficits. Impact on sectors. These tariffs are projected to increase costs for construction and infrastructure projects, raising prices on essential materials like steel, concrete, and lumber. The construction sector in particular could face delays and increased expenses, complicating project timelines and budgets. 2. Energy sector focus. Domestic energy independence. Another cornerstone of Trump's initiatives is the push for domestic energy independence, which includes expanding fossil fuel production in Alaska. This focus aims to stimulate job creation and stabilize energy prices, benefiting industries reliant on consistent energy costs. Criticism and concerns. However, this strategy has raised alarm among environmental, social, and governance (ESG) investors who are concerned about the diminished support for renewable energy initiatives. 3. Border security measures. National emergency declaration. Trump declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border to enhance security through increased infrastructure development. This move is expected to disrupt cross-border trade, particularly affecting agriculture, which relies heavily on migrant labor. Labor cost implications. Stricter immigration policies could lead to higher labor costs in sectors that depend on low-skilled workers, further complicating the agricultural landscape. 4. Technological innovation and regulation. Regulatory environment. The administration appears poised to relax regulations surrounding technology, particularly in areas like data privacy and artificial intelligence. This shift could spur growth in the domestic tech sector but raises concerns about data security and privacy protections. Common themes and divergences. Economic strain from tariffs. Across multiple analyses, there is a consensus on the economic strain that tariffs will impose, particularly on infrastructure projects. The anticipated increases in costs and delays could hinder collaboration across various sectors. Energy focus. All sources emphasize a renewed emphasis on U.S. energy independence, with traditional energy sectors expected to benefit from reduced competition and increased domestic production. Technological dynamics. There is recognition of the intricate balance between technological advancement and regulation, with differing viewpoints on how the administration's policies will affect market dynamics. Timeline of events. November 2024, Trump announces intentions for tariffs during the transition period. January 20, 2025, Trump is inaugurated and signs multiple executive actions, including tariffs, energy policies, and border security measures. January 22, 2025, financial markets and sectors begin to assess the implications of these executive actions. Broader context and challenges. While these initiatives are designed to foster economic growth and collaboration among the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors, they are not without challenges. Critics argue that the administration must address larger megatrends, including demographic shifts, climate change, and technological advancements, which pose significant obstacles to achieving sustainable growth. 1. Demographic shifts. The U.S. faces a demographic mismatch with an aging population and declining birth rates. Increased legal immigration could help mitigate this issue, but political resistance complicates potential solutions. 2. Climate change. The administration's focus on fossil fuels may exacerbate the ongoing climate crisis, which threatens not only the environment but also economic stability. The lack of commitment to renewable energy could isolate the U.S. in future global negotiations. 3. Technological innovations. Rapid advancements in technology, particularly in AI and biotechnology, necessitate a careful balance between innovation and regulation. Without adequate oversight, the risks associated with these technologies could outweigh their benefits. Conclusion. The economic initiatives unveiled by President Trump in January 2025 signal a significant shift in U.S. policy direction, with the potential to reshape collaboration across the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors. However, the anticipated 45% increase in collaboration by Q1 2026 hinges on navigating complex challenges, including the impacts of tariffs, labor dynamics, and the technological landscape. As these policies unfold, stakeholders must remain vigilant in assessing their implications for sustainable and inclusive economic growth. The anticipated 45% increase in collaboration across the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors by Q1 2026 as a result of President Trump's economic initiatives presents several counterintuitive implications and dynamics that warrant exploration. 1. Tariffs as a double-edged sword. The significant tariffs imposed on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, intended to protect domestic industries and stimulate growth, may paradoxically stifle the very collaboration they are meant to enhance. While designed to bolster local production, these tariffs could lead to increased costs for essential materials like steel, concrete, and lumber, ultimately hampering infrastructure projects that are critical for collaboration across sectors. The expectation that tariffs will protect jobs and stimulate domestic industries may clash with the reality of higher prices and supply chain disruptions, potentially leading to delays and reduced investment in collaborative projects. 2. Energy independence versus environmental responsibility. Trump's focus on expanding fossil fuel production to achieve energy independence presents a counterintuitive scenario where the push for domestic energy sources could run counter to the growing global emphasis on sustainability and renewable energy. By prioritizing fossil fuel expansion, the administration risks alienating environmentally conscious investors and tech firms, which could hinder collaborative efforts in sectors like technology and tourism that increasingly rely on sustainable practices. The tension between traditional energy policies and global climate commitments may create friction, undermining collaboration opportunities, particularly in sectors that rely on eco-friendly initiatives. 3. Border security and labor markets. The implementation of stricter border security measures intended to enhance national security may inadvertently escalate labor costs in sectors like agriculture that rely heavily on migrant labor. This could create a paradox where the very policies aimed at protecting American jobs could lead to labor shortages and increased costs for agricultural producers, thereby limiting their capacity for collaboration with technology and tourism sectors. The anticipated labor market disruptions could challenge the economic growth that the administration aims to achieve through increased collaboration. 4. Technological advancement amid regulation. While a reduction in regulatory oversight on technology is expected to spur innovation and growth, it also introduces risks related to data security and privacy. The administration's approach to technology, particularly in areas like AI regulation, suggests a potential neglect of necessary safeguards that could protect consumers and businesses alike. This absence of regulation may lead to short-term gains in collaboration within the tech sector, but could also result in long-term ramifications, such as loss of consumer trust and issues of accountability that could stifle collaborative efforts across other sectors. 5. Demographic shifts and migration policies. The demographic mismatch between aging populations in developed nations and youthful populations in developing regions underscores a critical counterintuitive challenge for Trump's administration. While the need for increased immigration to support economic growth is evident, the administration's inclination toward restricting immigration could paradoxically exacerbate labor shortages and hinder growth in the technology and agriculture sectors. This misalignment between policy and demographic realities highlights the potential for missed opportunities in fostering collaboration needed to address labor market demands. 6. Global versus domestic focus. The administration's America First approach, which emphasizes domestic priorities, may lead to a counterproductive isolationism that undermines international collaboration essential for tackling global challenges. The anticipated economic growth through increased collaboration might be stunted by a lack of engagement with international partners, particularly in sectors like technology and tourism that thrive on global cooperation. The expectation that a focus on domestic policy will yield significant collaboration gains ignores the interconnected nature of today's global economy. 7. Skepticism of technological innovation. The rapid advancement of technologies such as AI poses both opportunities and challenges for collaboration across sectors. While the administration's approach may lead to short-term benefits in technological innovation, the lack of regulatory frameworks to manage these advancements could lead to societal resistance and ethical dilemmas. This skepticism surrounding technology could hinder collaboration efforts in sectors that increasingly rely on tech-driven solutions, undermining the anticipated growth across the board. 8. Investment shifts in economic dynamics. As the administration rolls back regulations and prioritizes deregulation, there is a risk that traditional industries may reap short-term benefits while neglecting the long-term investments needed for sustainable growth. This could create a counterintuitive scenario where immediate economic gains overshadow the critical investments in infrastructure, education, and workforce development required to sustain collaboration in the future. The expectation of a surge in collaboration may falter if the underlying economic dynamics do not support a stable and innovative environment. In summary, the anticipated increase in collaboration across the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors due to Trump's economic initiatives is laden with counterintuitive implications. The interplay between tariffs, energy policies, border security, technological innovation, demographic shifts, and global engagement presents a complex landscape that could undermine the very objectives these initiatives aim to achieve. Recognizing and addressing these paradoxes is essential for navigating the anticipated economic landscape and fostering meaningful collaboration across these critical sectors. The report outlines the anticipated 45% increase in collaboration across the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors by Q1 2026, a projection linked to Donald Trump's economic initiatives announced in January 2025. While the report covers significant aspects of these initiatives, several important details may be overlooked which are crucial for understanding the broader implications of such a drastic policy shift. Overlooked content and its significance. 1. Impact of tariffs on supply chains. Many readers may focus primarily on the immediate financial implications of tariffs, higher costs for consumers and businesses, without fully grasping the broader disruptions to supply chains. The construction and infrastructure sectors are particularly vulnerable, as they heavily rely on imported materials such as steel and lumber. The report mentions potential delays and increased expenses, but the cascading effects of these disruptions could lead to long-term project cancellations or reallocations of resources. This is significant because infrastructure projects are foundational to economic growth, and their stalling could have a ripple effect through the economy, affecting job creation and investment in other sectors. 2. Energy sector dynamics. The emphasis on fossil fuel production and energy independence may overshadow the urgent need for a balanced energy approach that includes renewable sources. Trump's directive to prioritize fossil fuels could alienate investors focused on ESG, environmental, social, and governance criteria, potentially leading to capital flight from the U.S. energy sector. The long-term significance of this shift is profound. It could hinder the U.S.'s ability to remain competitive in a global market increasingly oriented towards sustainable energy solutions. This is crucial as international agreements and market demands are increasingly favoring renewable energy, and neglecting this trend could result in missed opportunities for economic growth and job creation in emerging industries. 3. Border security measures and labor implications. The report highlights the potential disruptions in agriculture due to stricter immigration policies but may understate the broader implications for industries reliant on low-skilled labor. The anticipated increase in labor costs could lead to higher consumer prices and reduced competitiveness for U.S. agricultural products in global markets. This is particularly significant for the agriculture sector, which is heavily dependent on migrant labor. The long-term effects could include shifts in agricultural practices, increased automation, and a potential decline in domestic food production capacity, which could have implications for food security. 4. Technological regulation and innovation. The report notes the potential for reduced regulatory oversight in technology, particularly concerning data privacy and AI. This may appear beneficial for tech companies in the short term, but the lack of a regulatory framework could lead to significant risks, including data breaches and ethical concerns surrounding AI usage. The long-term significance of this is multifaceted. While fostering innovation, it could also lead to public backlash against tech companies, resulting in calls for stricter regulations which may come too late to mitigate damage already done. Moreover, without adequate safeguards, the U.S. could fall behind in establishing global standards for technology use, which could affect its competitive edge. 5. Geopolitical ramifications of trade policies. The report briefly touches upon the America First trade policies, but the potential geopolitical ramifications are substantial. Imposing tariffs and abandoning multilateral trade agreements could alienate key trading partners and lead to retaliatory measures, further exacerbating trade tensions. This could destabilize existing trade relationships, particularly with Canada and Mexico, which are crucial for U.S. agriculture and manufacturing. The significance of this is that long-term isolationist policies might lead to a fragmented global market, limiting U.S. businesses' access to foreign markets and increasing reliance on domestic production, which may not be sustainable in the long run. 6. Demographic and environmental challenges. The report does not sufficiently address the demographic changes and environmental challenges that could counteract Trump's policy initiatives. As outlined in Source 3, the U.S. faces significant demographic challenges, including an aging population and declining birth rates, which could result in labor shortages in critical sectors. Moreover, the neglect of climate change considerations in favor of fossil fuel production could lead to severe environmental consequences that may ultimately hinder economic growth. The significance of this oversight is that it highlights a disconnect between short-term economic strategies and the need for long-term sustainability, potentially jeopardizing future economic stability. 7. Investment opportunities in emerging sectors. The report discusses anticipated collaboration among sectors but may overlook the investment opportunities that arise from technological advancements and the growth of alternative energy sources. As companies pivot to meet the demands of a changing marketplace, there will be emerging sectors ripe for investment, particularly in clean technology and sustainable agriculture. The significance of recognizing these opportunities is crucial for investors looking to capitalize on future trends, as well as for policymakers aiming to guide economic growth through innovation rather than backward-looking policies. Conclusion. The anticipated 45% increase in collaboration across technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors by Q1 2026, driven by Trump's economic initiatives, is fraught with complexities that extend beyond the surface-level impacts. The overlooked content within the report underscores critical economic, environmental, and geopolitical dynamics that could shape the future of the U.S. economy. Addressing these dynamics thoughtfully will be essential for ensuring sustainable growth and competitiveness in an increasingly interconnected world. Understanding these factors is vital for stakeholders across sectors, from policymakers to investors, as they navigate the implications of these significant policy shifts. 1. Tariffs and trade policies, economic reshaping and sectoral impact. The administration's imposition of significant tariffs, particularly a 25% tariff on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, will have profound implications for collaboration across sectors like technology, agriculture, and tourism. These tariffs are intended to protect domestic industries and address trade deficits but will likely result in increased costs and delays for infrastructure projects. The construction sector, heavily reliant on materials affected by these tariffs, may face budget overruns and project delays, which could hinder collaboration with technology and tourism sectors that depend on infrastructure development. Furthermore, the America First trade policy could reshape trade relations, impacting the flow of goods and services and potentially leading to retaliatory measures from trade partners. 2. Energy sector focus, domestic independence versus renewable concerns. The administration's directive to enhance domestic energy independence, particularly through fossil fuel production in Alaska, raises questions about the balance between traditional energy and renewable initiatives. This focus on fossil fuels is expected to create jobs and stabilize energy prices, benefiting sectors reliant on energy stability, including agriculture and tourism. However, the diminished support for renewable energy may alienate environmentally conscious investors and stakeholders, complicating the narrative of sustainable economic growth. As industries navigate these shifting dynamics, the collaboration needed to meet the challenges of climate change and energy sustainability may be jeopardized, potentially leading to a fragmented approach to energy policy. 3. Technological innovation and regulatory landscape, growth versus oversight. The anticipated pivot away from stringent technology regulations, especially concerning data privacy and AI, offers a double-edged sword for the domestic tech sector. While this could foster innovation and growth, it also raises significant concerns about data security and the ethical implications of unregulated technological advancements. For sectors like technology, agriculture, and tourism, which increasingly rely on data-driven solutions, the lack of regulatory oversight could lead to vulnerabilities, including data breaches and ethical dilemmas. As these industries collaborate more closely, the need for a balanced regulatory framework that promotes innovation while protecting consumers and businesses from potential harms becomes critical. 4. Border security measures, implications for agriculture and labor markets. The National Emergency Declaration aimed at enhancing security at the U.S.-Mexico border could disrupt cross-border trade and affect labor markets crucial for industries such as agriculture and tourism. Stricter immigration policies may lead to increased labor costs and shortages, especially in sectors that rely on migrant labor such as agriculture and hospitality. The potential for heightened security measures to slow down the flow of goods could exacerbate supply chain issues, further complicating collaboration across sectors. As industries grapple with these challenges, finding a balance between security measures and economic vitality will be essential for sustaining growth and fostering intersectoral collaboration. These 4 points highlight the intricate interplay of policies and their anticipated impacts on collaboration across technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors, prompting deeper analysis and discussion on how industries can navigate these evolving landscapes to achieve sustainable growth. 1. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. This act raised U.S. tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods in an effort to protect domestic industries during the Great Depression. Instead of reviving the U.S. economy, the act led to retaliatory tariffs from other countries, resulting in a significant decline in international trade and worsening the economic downturn. The Smoot-Hawley tariff is often cited as a classic example of how protectionist trade policies can backfire, leading to increased costs and decreased collaboration between nations. 2. The U.S.-China Trade War 2018-2020. Initiated by the Trump administration, this trade conflict involved the imposition of tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods between the two countries, aimed at addressing trade imbalances and intellectual property theft. The resulting tariffs and counter-tariffs disrupted supply chains, increased costs for consumers and businesses, and led to a significant decrease in trade between the U.S. and China. This trade war highlighted the complexities of international trade relationships and the potential negative consequences of aggressive economic policies. 3. The Marshall Plan 1948-1952. Officially known as the European Recovery Program, the Marshall Plan was an American initiative that provided over $12 billion, approximately $130 billion in today's dollars, in economic assistance to help rebuild Western European economies after the devastation of World War II. The plan aimed to foster collaboration across various sectors, including technology, agriculture, and industry, ultimately promoting economic stability and growth in Europe. Unlike the protectionist measures seen in the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, the Marshall Plan is an example of how strategic investment and collaboration can lead to significant economic recovery and international partnerships. The anticipated increase in collaboration across the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors by 45% by Q1 2026 as a result of Donald Trump's economic initiatives announced in January 2025 presents a complex and multifaceted outlook for the future. Here we will examine key predictions for these sectors, considering the potential impacts of various policies and global trends. Technology sector. 1. Increased investment in AI and automation. With the U.S. shifting towards a less regulated tech environment under Trump's directives, we can expect a surge in investments in artificial intelligence, AI, and automation technologies. Companies will likely accelerate the development of AI applications across industries, which will enhance productivity but may also lead to job displacements in certain sectors. 2. Data privacy concerns. As regulations around data privacy and security become more lenient, there may be a rise in data breaches and privacy violations. Companies will need to navigate the balance between innovation and ethical responsibilities, leading to potential public backlash and calls for reinstating stricter regulations. 3. Global tech competition. The push towards domestic tech growth may intensify competition with countries like China. This could result in increased investments in R&D to maintain a technological edge, but also heighten geopolitical tensions, particularly around issues like cybersecurity and intellectual property. Agriculture sector. 1. Impact of trade policies. Trump's tariffs on imports are expected to reshape trade dynamics. While these measures aim to protect domestic agriculture, they may lead to retaliatory tariffs from trading partners, adversely affecting U.S. exports. Farmers may experience increased costs for imported goods, impacting profitability. 2. Labor market challenges. Stricter immigration policies could exacerbate labor shortages in agriculture, particularly in crop production, which relies heavily on migrant labor. This may drive up labor costs and force farmers to invest in automation and technology to compensate for the lack of available workforce. 3. Sustainability initiatives. As environmental concerns grow, there may be a push from consumers and advocacy groups for more sustainable farming practices. While Trump's administration may prioritize traditional farming methods, farmers who adopt sustainable practices may find new market opportunities and consumer bases. Tourism sector. 1. Recovery and growth post-pandemic. The tourism sector is likely to see a rebound as travel restrictions ease and consumer confidence grows. However, the extent of this recovery will depend on global economic conditions and the U.S. government's handling of border security and immigration policies. 2. Investment in infrastructure. If Trump's focus on infrastructure development proceeds as planned, improved transportation networks could enhance accessibility to tourist destinations, driving growth in the tourism sector. This could benefit local economies but may also lead to environmental concerns if not managed sustainably. 3. Cultural and environmental considerations. As tourism grows, there will be increasing pressure to balance economic benefits with cultural preservation and environmental sustainability. Stakeholders in the tourism industry will need to navigate these challenges to ensure that growth does not come at the expense of local communities or ecosystems. Common themes and challenges. 1. Interconnectedness of sectors. The collaboration across technology, agriculture, and tourism will likely create opportunities for cross-sector innovations. For example, technology can enhance agricultural efficiency, which in turn can support the tourism sector by promoting agritourism initiatives. 2. Navigating global trends. the U.S. will need to contend with broader global trends such as climate change, demographic shifts, and technological advancements. Each of these factors will shape the landscape for collaboration and growth across sectors. 3. Policy adaptation. As the political climate evolves, the incoming administration may need to adapt policies in response to emerging challenges. This flexibility will be crucial for sustaining growth and fostering collaboration in the face of shifting economic realities. Conclusion. The future outlook for the anticipated 45% increase in collaboration among the technology, agriculture, and tourism sectors is influenced by a complex interplay of domestic policies, global trends, and sector-specific challenges. While there are significant opportunities for growth and innovation, stakeholders must remain vigilant about the potential risks associated with regulatory changes and market dynamics. The ability to adapt and navigate these challenges will determine the success of collaborative efforts across these vital sectors by Q1 2026 and beyond.